I want to just jump in with what we talked about at the end of the first hour with Chris Brockman and the rest, giving voice to what so many NBA fans feel about Scott Foster. Is the NBA front office aware that fans view Scott Foster as not on the up and up in a way? And I'm not saying that he's on the take. I'm just saying that he does what the league wants to do to get the television audience, having a 7-game series and stuff like that. Are they aware of this?
They're aware of it. Whenever I speak to league officials about that perception, what often I'll get bombarded with are facts and figures, statistics that show, or at least a reference to statistics that show that Scott Foster is one of the most accurate referees that they have. And look, whether it's this Game 5 with Lakers Warriors or the NBA Finals, he's involved in a lot of games. Now, fans might say, well, he's involved because the league, he'll do what the league says. And that perception is because of two things, right? One, his previous association with Tim Donaghy. You can't wash that away.
Yes.
They were friends before Donaghy was bounced from the league because of the gambling scandal, and the Chris Paul numbers. Like every time Scott Foster has officiated a Chris Paul game over the last few years, it's been pointed out time and again that Chris Paul can't win when Scott Foster's out there. So I think it's been, this two very high profile connections that have enhanced this perception of Scott Foster. I think he's a good referee. Like, I would challenge people to kind of point to multiple specific moments where he gets the call wrong. Like, I don't think he gets it wrong, or it's not a word, but I don't think he gets it more wrong than other top referees do.
Does that help you, Chris?
No.
But isn't that true, though? Don't you always, when you think Scott Foster, like what do you point to with how he screws it up?
It's kind of like the NFL, right? You call holding on every play. It's about tone early. Like Anthony Davis is getting 2 fouls in the first quarter.
Okay,
right?
but then if he does, then I'll come back here next time and say you're right. But when you're saying that, you're like, Scott Foster makes too many bad calls, I need to hear which ones you're talking about.
I'm not saying they're bad. You could call a foul on every drive to the hoop. You could call hand check on it. It's just tone.
Correct, but
you're calling the game.
Tell me which. You got to point to a game. You got to point to a specific incident, because I think that you are doing what I just said people are doing, which is associating him, whether it's conscious or not, with Donaghy and with the Chris Paul stuff.
You're probably right, and I don't have any specifics. I'll watch the game tonight, maybe take some good notes and get back to you, but it's just a perception. And when referees,
well, he's not alone. You know that, right?
I get it, but again, I don't know if the perception.
Though,
I don't know if the perception is connected to the reality of the situation. What the NBA likes about Scott Foster is that he controls the game. Like it's sometimes look like the incident from last night. You need a crew chief there that's in control in that situation. Yeah. Someone with experience, someone that's been part of big games. Scott Foster is that guy. That's why part of the reason why they like him so much.
But perception is reality. You can't have referees
it's not always reality
on Twitter. Like that's just a bad look for the league.
Okay, if we're not gonna, you can't allow Twitter to dictate. Like who?
NBA Twitter is a powerful force.
But I think
it shouldn't be an influential one, though. You shouldn't be looking. If you're the league,
if can't be happy that Foster is trending every time he's refereeing.
What are you going to do about it, though? Like, if you're Monty McCutcheon, who's the NBA referees are, like, if you're going to see Scott Foster trending on Twitter, he's also very recognizable. People know what Scott Foster looks like. You can't pick like Bill Kennedy out of a lineup. Most NBA referees. So I think that's part of it. But if you're Monty McCutcheon and you're like, all right, big game coming up, we're going to assign a certain referee. Oh damn, Stevie 7293 says Scott Foster sucks. Like you cannot go by what Twitter tells you.
I can't believe you just called out your burner account, Chris.
Sorry, man.
Does Monty
this is Josiah, who has pretty big influence and worldwide wob in these guys. They're making reference to all these stats and how Scott Foster is.
I think he's
got a perception.
That's why I ask if the league's aware. Does Monty McCutcheon dress like that all the time?
All the time. All the time.
Really?
All the time. I was in the NBA bubble with Monty for a while.
He's bow tied in the bubble. Bubble bow tie.
Part of the time. Yeah. Like I saw the last game Monty McCutcheon refereed. I was texting people in the league office. Like I can't take. Or Monty McCutcheon was doing some of the talk back.
Yes.
I'm like, I can't take Monty seriously when he's dressed like a leprechaun. Like, I can't. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
I love the guy. He's a great guy.
It is funny. Every single time he pops on, I didn't think about this. I was hankering for a bowl of Lucky Charms.
Yes.
Now I understand it. So is Scott Foster going to take Steve Javi's role, right? Pretty much. One day, will he be...
those guys, like... Again, I like Steve Javie, known him a long time, but like I need a independent referees rules analyst that is willing to go after his former colleagues.
You need a Mike Pereira.
A Mike Pereira. In the boxing world, I used to work with Steve Smoger, who was a great referee, passed away recently. And whenever we would go to Steve Smoger for something that happened in the ring, if the referee got it wrong, Steve Smoger would slap him around a little bit. I kind of want that. I never feel like I get that from Steve Javie. I don't feel like he ever
always backs the referees.
Yeah, I don't want that. You got to have some independence in that situation, a fearlessness that comes with going after your former colleagues.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.